This is the Louie T Network.
I'm ready for some football. I don't know about you. Who else could it be but your man Lou? Yeah.
Overtime! So we head to overtime.
Who else could it be? Me, your man, Louie T. Welcome to Monday Night Football Overtime. Falcons, Bucs, NFC South family business. You know how the family do it. If these two teams said they ain't did it, then they ain't did it. But if they did, you know, it's family business. And nothing like a little family business on a Monday night. Buccaneers, for the second time this season on primetime television, lose because of field goal kicking. Gotta love it when you spend a second round, pick your trade up to get a second round kicker, only to cut his ass a year later and still have the same problems. Would have loved to have seen Patrick Murray actually get to set up, take his time, take a deep breath. But even the Buccaneers at 4-10 can't get on the field fast enough to allow their damn kicker to line up, set up, shot, take a deep breath, relax, focus, and kick the football. They even got a rush to do that. You're one pathetic loser, as a wise man once told me. Hey, no offense, Tampa. Your response is supposed to be none taken. In any event, Falcons hang on to get the 24-21 victory. They're now 9-5 on the season, and all they need to do is win one more game this season. Doesn't matter which one. Just pick one. Win one, and you're in. Look, what's better than 1? 2. What gets you a division crown this year? 2 wins. Okay? 1 down, 2 to go. 1 more, and you're in. All right? Now, you won't get a home playoff game with that, but you would be in. 2 more, and you get a home playoff game with that. So, it's almost like me taking your order at your favorite fast food restaurant. Would you like a home playoff game with that? You can get in. Would you like a home playoff game with that? That's the question I ask you, Atlanta. Now, you could get no playoffs, period. Just lose your last 2 games, because don't rely on anybody else to take care of business for you. Don't look around and say, hey, Dallas, you feel like losing a game? They get Zeke Elliott back. And in case you didn't know, Seahawks are dead. Dead, I tell you. So don't look at the Cowboys. Don't look at the Lions. Okay? They play the Packers without Aaron Rodgers and the Cincinnati Bengals. Now, it's on the road, but they've quit too. So don't look at the Lions for help. You want to get in? As a wise man once told me, you want it done right, better do it yourself. Hey, all you got to do is win 1 more. Hey, you want the division? You got to do is win 2 more. So we'll see. This wasn't pretty by any stretch of the imagination, nor did I expect it to be. But most importantly, it was a dub. And so you'll take it, you'll move forward, and you'll see if you can get another one next week, which I don't see you getting. But hey, let's not talk about next week. Let's not dwell on the future. Let's enjoy the present, shall we? You got to win. And boy, it was a little dicey there at the end. But Buccaneers. In the spirit of Kobe Bryant retiring his jersey tonight, Buccaneers, tell me how that L tastes. I cracked myself up. Let me stop. I'm sorry. I apologize, Bucs fans. I don't mean to laugh at your misery, but it's actually really funny. But in any event, seriously speaking, Jameis Winston looked good tonight. And I think I figured out some of the problems he's having. One, he's got too many weapons. He doesn't know what to do with all of those weapons. All right. For some of you, this won't make any sense. For a lot of you, it will. If you've ever been in a house with little to no food, then you know your options are limited. You know exactly what you're going into the fridge to get. You know exactly what you're about to eat. Imagine you getting out of school at 2:05 and you get home about 2:30 and you already at about 1:30 are thinking about that 2:30 sandwich that's waiting for you at home. You haven't had lunch since 10:05. You're starving. Can't wait to get home. Make that peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Now, imagine your mom and dad just went grocery shopping. And all of a sudden, you open up the fridge and there's everything that you can imagine. You go to the pantry, same thing. Now the possibilities are endless. I don't want a peanut butter and jelly sandwich now. Not when I can have a Hot Pocket, or I can eat a toaster strudel, or I could eat a bowl of cereal. What's better than a 2:30 bowl of cereal? The possibilities are endless. What do I do? That's in where lies the problem. Jameis Winston looked up this offseason and he said, I got Mike Evans. I got Humphreys. I got Cameron Brate, O.J. Howard, Deshaun Jackson. What do I do? Who do I throw the football to? It's a really tough dilemma. But sometimes when you simplify things and you make it a lot easier, things become a lot easier. So you say, hey, OJ, go have a seat. Hey, Deshaun, later, dude. And all of a sudden, Jameis Winston looks like 2016 Jameis Winston again. Is that a coincidence to anybody else? Because I thought that I was the only one that saw that tonight. And a Bucs fan asked me like a week ago, what's wrong with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers? I've got my theories. And I said, it's simple. They're not getting the football to their playmakers. It's pretty simple to me, actually. I don't know. That's just a theory. Anyway, welcome to the show. I'm your man, Louie T. Thank you for joining me on this program. Monday Night Football, overtime. Falcons dodge a bullet in the division on the road, 24-21, get their 9th win of the season. Stay within striking distance of the NFC South crown. Again, just a simple win next week, followed by another win in Week 17 at home versus Carolina, gets the Falcons the NFC South title. Don't see it happening, but you need one before you can get to 3. Can't get to 3 before you gotta get 1 first. Can't get to 3 without 1. Can't get to 2 without 1. Got the first one. Now I gotta go get the second one. For the Buccaneers, it's been a long season. A lot of disappointment. 9-7 last year, 4-10 now. A lot of rumors about the coaching staff and who's going to be back, who's going to be gone. Good to see them compete tonight. But that's what they've done the last, 3 weeks, right? I mean, think about it. They lost in overtime to Green Bay 2 weeks ago. They lost they lost at the end of regulation last week to Detroit. And they lose at the end of regulation to the Atlanta Falcons. So they've been competing. It's not like they've given up. They're just not winning. And I got to tell you, that last sequence of events pretty much is a synopsis of the Buccaneers season. Not being able to get on the field in time enough for your kicker to take his time, but having to rush. To me, that just seems really Buccaneerish. But in any event, let's talk about the Falcons. They were able to win. They were able to get to 9-5 and survive this one. Thought the run game was outstanding for them tonight between Teron Ward and Devontae Freeman. They were outstanding, especially late when this team needed. You could tell the Falcons didn't have their fastball today. And that's the mark of a good team because even without your fastball, Sometimes you need the slider and the changeup to get you through. You know, every now and again you throw a little hook in there, but your fastball's not hitting the glove and hitting the gun at 97 tonight. So that 91, 92 mile an hour fastball with no movement, they taking that out the park. So you got to start throwing some off-speed stuff, man. You got to keep them guessing. And you didn't have your fastball tonight, but you found a way to get outs. Sometimes you got to pitch to contact. Let your defense play. They did that tonight. They pitched to contact. Run game was able to sustain, especially on that drive where they were up 3 at 17-14. They were on the ropes. They were on the ropes. The Buccaneers were right there. They couldn't afford to kick the football back to them. They ate up about a good 6 or 7 minutes off the clock with a long, taxing drive. And they capped it off with 7 to put a little distance between them and the Bucs. Now the Bucs would later on go and get a touchdown and cut it back to 3, but they got another big first down. And Devontae Freeman was outstanding tonight. Player of the game. Big catch on a 3rd and about, let's call it 4. Catches a 6-yard pass. And so that forced the Buccaneers to use their last 2 timeouts. Boy, they could have used the timeout at the end of the game, right? Well, you made them use both of their timeouts. So it really benefited you that you were able to get that last first down and force them to use those timeouts. And it put them in a position where they didn't have any timeouts late in the game when they needed to be able to stop the clock. They couldn't. And it forced them to rush everything. So on a night where Julio Jones was limited, on a night where the passing game in general was limited, there's some things I question. Like, one, if I'm running, and it worked on the first touchdown, but if I'm running a back shoulder fade in the end zone, am I running that with Justin Hardy? Like, I could think of at least 2 to 3 other guys on this team that I'd much rather run a back shoulder fade with than Justin Hardy. If I'm running a somewhat of a play action seam route to go post up in front of a defender, am I running that to Justin Hardy? Because I could think of 2 or 3 other dudes on this roster that would do a much better job of boxing out a defender and then going up for a jump ball in the end zone. It's just me. I mean, I'm just a professional football watcher. That's it. That's all I do is watch football. So I didn't sleep at a Holiday Inn last night, and I may not know what I'm talking about, but I swear they got a couple of big guys with some wide bodies that could box out defenders and go up and get the football in the end zone. I'm not saying, I'm just saying. Anyway, I digress. The Falcons found a way to win, and the run game was the catalyst. Matt Ryan used his legs tonight. Look at Matt go. Missed Levine Toilolo wide open. I don't think he would have scored. We all have seen Levine Toilolo run with a fridge on his back trying to score touchdowns before. He's barely made it before. I don't think he was going to make it from this far out. But it would have been sure nice to find out. But in any event, the offense did enough tonight. Again, it wasn't pretty. It wasn't their best performance. But it was enough to get a win on the road against a team that was looking to just get a win. Just spoil some shit. So that's a gutty performance on the road without one of your best backs. It's a big one. Big one to go get. And again, not having your fastball, still finding a way to win. Impressive. Defensively, you got to get more pressure on the quarterback, man. The Bucs had a banged up line, and you did nothing about it for the most part. And that's going to be your undoing. If you can't get more pressure on the quarterback than what you got tonight, it's a problem. It's a big problem. I told you I'm not a Tack McKinley fan, and I'm not piling on the guy. He's a rookie. You know, there's only so much you can expect from a rookie. The next couple of years will be really big in his development and growth. I'm anxious to see what he does. I'm anxious to see how they shape and mold him because he's raw. I told you that when you drafted him out of UCLA. Didn't think he was a first-round pick because of how raw he was. He's got athleticism. He's got a little bit of a burst and a get-off, but Not much else. And he even admitted it himself. I'm raw. I don't have a lot of moves. My move is beat the guy in front of me with pure speed. Well, in the NFL, that doesn't work 90% of the time unless you have an elite first step, which I don't know if he has. I think he's got an explosive first step. I don't think it's elite. Von Miller, Justin Houston type. Khalil Mack type. Nah, I don't know if it's that. However, Brooks Reed, Vic Beasley, hell, Adrian Claiborne, anybody, somebody, anybody, I don't give a damn. Grady Jarrett on the interior, Dontari Poe, I could care less. You got to get pressure. Somebody, anybody. So, going to have to do that moving forward. If you're going to beat New Orleans next week, can't give Drew Brees all day to throw the football. And you won't have the benefit of no Alvin Kamara this time around. So, you're in trouble if that's the best pass rush you can muster. But it was enough tonight. It was enough tonight. So, you got the win. That's all that matters. Wasn't pretty, but it was gritty. It was on the road, in the division. You know how family do it. You know how family business goes. It's never easy. Always greasy. But at the end, it was a dub. You go to the... And one more thing. Doesn't it feel nice to have a kicker you can trust? From 57 automatic. Love that guy. Love him. Love him. I know the Bucs wish they still had him. You know what I find funny? And this is a side note. You know what I find really funny? The teams that cut kickers in search of greener pastures only for that kicker to come back and burn their ass. And then look up and say, damn, wish we still had him. What were we thinking? I watched Robbie Gould go back to Chicago and blaze those boys with a game winner. Matter of fact, 5 field goals beat the Bears, and he kicked all 5 of them, including the game winner as time expired. Boy, that stings. And meanwhile, the Bears are on like their 7th kicker this year. They even tried the GOAT, Roberto Aguayo. Connor Barth, all the Bucs rejects. They tried him in Chicago. I don't even know who's kicking for him right now. Doesn't matter. They stink. Meanwhile, Robbie Gould has the NFL longest streak for most consecutive field goals made with 19 this year. Bears sure could use that right now. Then I look at the Bucs and I'm like, I know it's been a while since you let Matt Bryant go. But what have you done since Matt Bryant's left? Who have you had? Connor Barth was probably the best you've done. And then he got injured playing ball in the offseason. Oh, Connor. Oh, Connor. What have you done since then? Let's not go down that road. Let's just say you've struggled. And the guy that you cut loose some time ago, well, he's thriving in Atlanta at the ripe old age of 42. Karma's a bitch, isn't it? Anyway, Bucs. Let's see. Start with the defense. Ton of injuries. And your pass rush was pathetic tonight, like it's been all season. Can I ask you something? Where's Noah Spence? Is he hurt? Where's he at? He's got to be hurt. I mean, I'm asking a question that I probably already know the answer to, but what's wrong with him is what I really want to know. So, some Bucs fan out there, tell me what's going on with Noah Spence. What he hurt? How long has he been gone? In any event, boy, your pass rush is bad. Your linebacker position was a little nicked tonight. No Levante David. And then the Glanton guy that was in for him, he's probably done for the year now with a leg injury. So now you're probably working on a third-string linebacker. I don't even want to know who that is. Secondary is pretty dinged. You've been missing Vernon Hargraves III just about all season. Haven't seen him. Then the Smith guy, I think his name is. Number 29, I don't know his name. Nor do I care to learn it. He leaves the game early. He comes back, but do you really care? I mean, seriously. He let Justin Hardy post him up and catch a back shoulder fade. Do you really care? Probably do, because you don't have much behind him. Then you get to the safety position, and there's a lot of stuff going on back there. I know a lot of Bucs fans that would love to get Chris Conte off the field. He might be your best safety. TJ Ward left with a concussion. Your rookie, Justin Evans, left with some undisclosed injury. I don't remember seeing him return to the game. I shudder to think who was at the safety position at the end of the game. Boy, is it bad at Tampa. Boy, is it bad on defense. No Gerald McCoy. Golston left this game. I don't know if he returned. Man, you look tired at the end of this game, stopping the run. Oh, well. You're 4-10 for a reason. You go to the offense. I actually was proud of Jameis tonight because it was rough early. Mikey with a couple of offensive pass interference penalties. Rightfully deserved, by the way. Deshaun Jackson leaves the game with an injury. So does O.J. Howard on his touchdown. Then you're just left with your regular stuff. And sometimes less is more. And I'm not saying you're better off without O.J. Howard and Deshaun Jackson, but Jameis just doesn't know what to do with all of those weapons right now. Maybe he'll be better next year with all of those weapons. But sometimes less is more. And he looked more comfortable. You can't tell me he didn't look more comfortable towards the end of this game. When it was just Cameron Brate, Humphreys, Mike Evans, and Chris Godwin. You can't tell me he didn't look more comfortable. But in any event, the run game was so-so tonight. Big fumble. And, you know, we've been really banging the table to get Barber in the game. That's how you repay us? Come on, bruh. Come on, broski. Don't do that. Can't fumble right there, man. Y'all not good enough. Damn it, man. Then there were some balls that hit the ground tonight. You got to recover the fumble in the end zone. You got to recover that, Justin Evans. What are you doing, man? The fumble in the fourth quarter. The second of the game. What is up with Falcons backs and fumbling versus the Bucs? Teron Ward had 2 versus the Bucs last time these two teams played. And tonight, Devontae Freeman had 2 fumbles. Luckily enough for the Falcons, unlike Ward's fumbles against the Bucs the first time around, they didn't lose either one of them. But you got to fall on these things, guys. You don't get these opportunities but so often. When you're 4-10, you don't get breaks. These are the breaks. Pick it up, pick it up, pick it up. You can pick up a fumble tonight, though. And so is the life of a 4-10 team. You competed. You gave it a run. But good old Patrick Murray burnt you at the end of the game. And again, I'm not going to kill Patrick Murray because you guys got to get set up. You know the clock's running. Get your ass on the field and line up for the goddamn field goal. It's the problem. Your coach is yelling, get out there. What are you waiting? Go. It's 15 seconds left, and you're just getting on the field getting set up. He doesn't have time to take his little 3 steps backwards and 2 steps sideways and deep breath. Visualize and then attack. Visualize and then attack. Okay, I'm ready. Stop it. He didn't even have time to do that. He had to rush his steps backwards, rush his steps sideways. He didn't have a time to take a deep breath, close his eyes, open his eyes, and then shake his head yes. He just had to get back there and shake his head yes. Your result? A miss. Wide right. In any event, Falcons get the win, 24-21. They're 9-5. Bucs drop to 4-10. Look, why wreck somebody's season, okay? Falcons have a perfectly good season in front of them. Why mess that up, right? Right? Right. Let's get to the comments. Hey, Joe. Let me get that one more time, man. Hey, Bucs, tell me how that L tastes. Off we go to the comments. Let's see what we got. All right. Atlas. As a Bucs fan, this was a fine loss. This year has been a year where balls just didn't bounce our way, and it would not be surprising to watch this team suddenly dominate next year. Sounds good to me, Atlas. Sounds like every other team 6-8, 5-9, or 4-10 at this point. So, welcome to the club. Atlas says, does this win instill any confidence in the Falcons to you? This looked like a very shaky game, especially considering the Bucs were playing water boys at defense, on defense, and at the end. It's not about instilling confidence. It's about winning games. That's all it's about. Styles make fights. And at the end of the day, you just want to find yourself in the playoffs, 1, and 2, against a team that you can beat. And if the Falcons can find a way to win 3 straight, they got 1 tonight, they got 2 more, they win the division. They'll get a home playoff game, and they might get a game that they can handle. Whether that's the Saints or the Panthers, doesn't make them any difference. They just want to get in. So, does this instill any more confidence in me? No. This wasn't a confidence-building win. It was just a win. Ask the Tennessee Titans yesterday, would they have loved a confidence-building win versus the 49ers yesterday? No, they would have just took a win. They don't give a damn if it was confidence-building. They just want to win. Nobody, at this point in the season, no one gives a shit about confidence-building, okay? You build confidence in week 11, week 12. We're in week 15. I just want to win, okay? Confidence, smconfidence. I just want to win and get into the playoffs. That's what it's about right now. You build confidence in week 8. We're past the confidence building portion of the season. Just win. Ask the Chiefs. They don't give a shit about confidence. Just win. I just want in. Okay? That's it. Reese says, pretty much a microcosm of our season, Lou. Showed some flashes. Not so. Jameis was respondent tonight. Sergeant Spooner says, shout out to Matt Ryan. I don't think I've ever seen him run that much, LOL. He put this team on his back for that drive. Hashtag respect. Jersey was dirty tonight for old Matty Ice. And, hey, y'all line the F up, man. Line y'all effing ass up out there. Tell him, Matt. Not for the bullshit tonight. I love it. It's playoff time, goddammit. You got time for the games. Dana Elmore says, what up, Lou? Gruden coaching coming back in Tampa. I'm hearing rumors. Lou, what you think? Good move or nah? Hashtag Buck Nation, hashtag Skull Gang. Nope. Tonight was a night to celebrate John Gruden's tenure in Tampa. Not coming back. Sounds good, though. And it's good fodder for Bucs fans who love to relive the glory days of Gruden 1.0 to talk about it. Reed talks about it every week. Not going to happen. Not going to happen. But it's fun to hear you guys talk about it. Sort of like me with Joe Gibbs, but I don't talk about it. But when he came back the second time around, we thought, here comes the glory days again. Not so much. Not so much. But, hey, it's fun to hear you guys talk about it anyway. DeMonte Borino says, did you hear Matt curse on the field? Of course I did. Of course I did. Reese says, Pat Murray has been otherwise outstanding this year. Honestly, I'm not going to kill Pat for that. I'd like to see you guys get on the field in an adequate enough time so that Pat can set up, go through his normal ritual, and then kick the football. Atlas says, Lou, stop Stop. The Falcons are not going to make noise in the playoffs, and this win hardly changed minds, in my opinion. Who said it was? Did anybody say it was? They just want to get in. Just like you would like a win. You would just like a win. Reese says, Chris Godwin catches everything. He could catch a cold in the desert. Except when Alford strips it out of his hand. But I like Chris Godwin. I do. Reese says, I actually like Dirk Cutter's play calling tonight. Darth Vader BI says, ref fell on purpose. They got to get more in shape referees, man. This shit is getting out of control, man. Just like the sound guy got knocked down tonight. I was like, you unathletic rascal, you. And I wanted to use another word there, but I'm going to be a little bit reserved. He was so unathletic. Get out of the way, man. Don't fall down. Glasses went that way. The sound barrier thing went one way. There was some kind of black gadget on him. That went another way. Come on, guy. Get your life together, man. Come on, ref. You got one job. Spot the damn ball. Come on, man. Get your life together. Reese says, Mike Smith stinks. How many guys could you see running wide open? Hey, look, man. Y'all are banged up, Reed. I mean, I don't know what you want the man to do with third stringers and practice squad guys running all around the field, bruh. Like, I know you got a vendetta against Mike Smith, but what do you want the man to do with all these backups, bruh? I just chronicled all the dudes that were on the field that had no business being on the field tonight. Darth Vader BI says, ain't like Redskins doing any better. Nope. We're not. What's your point? You got one? I'm going to be at the same place at the same time you are, watching the same playoff games. You got a point. We are 6-8. Still ain't good enough for the playoffs. So what difference does it make? You'll have a higher draft pick than us. That's the only difference. So I'd love to hear a point if you got it. Thanks. Dana Elmore says, Tampa is cleaning the house, period. Heads are going to roll. Hashtag Green Mile. We'll see. Sounds good. Again, sounds good. This performance, though, might have saved Dirk Cutter's job. I don't know. I mean, the last 3 games have been pretty close. You know, but this was sans all of the mistakes and turnovers that we saw versus Green Bay and Detroit. So we'll see. Atlas says, yeah, man, it's funny how less became more today for the offense. Maybe a sign from the football gods. I'm not saying, just saying. Reese says, Peyton Barber fights for every inch. I don't know if you know the reference, but he reminds me of Ernest Graham. Not spectacular, but solid at every turn. He had one run tonight where you just like, man, that was impressive. You know, looked like he was going to be stopped short on like a 3rd and 2 run. Somehow, some way, he comes out the other side and then drags a guy for like 2 extra yards, then runs through another guy for another additional 2 yards. It's like, whoa, that was impressive. But then he went on that same drive and fumbled the damn ball away. So yeah, it's like a compliment sandwich, you know, sort of, kind of. Dre True Statement says, I'm going to be honest, besides Freeman, my Falcons don't look like a playoff team. Letting teams hang around mess is just frustrating. Look, man, don't have to be pretty. Just find a way to win. You think Eagles fans giving back their win against a 2-12 Giants team? You think they giving back that win today? You think they bitching and complaining about their win? Nope. They just clinched a first-round bye. It's a division game. It happens. You won on the road. Take it, go home, and prepare for New Orleans on the road next week. Okay? I get it. You'd love to put these boys away and put 45 on their skull like you would have last year. This isn't last year. This isn't the same team. They don't have the same coaching staff. Okay? Deal with it. You won. John Perez says, your Seattle versus L.A. breakdown was hilarious. You guys got a visit from the sheriff, man. It's rare, but it happens when it's appropriate. Atlas says, watch all of these very close losses become wins next year for the Bucs when they get healthy and put a pass rusher on the field. Sounds good. Again, you sound like just about every other team that's struggling this year. Injuries, ball not bouncing their way. The NFL is the same way every year. I explain this to people every year. It's a fine line you walk in the NFL between being 6-10, 8-8, and 10-6. Injuries, that's good for 2 wins, 2 losses. So plus or minus 2 wins, 2 losses. Ball bouncing your way, turnovers, mistakes, that's a plus or minus 2 in this league. Field goal kicking, special teams, it's a plus or minus 2 in this league. I mean, how many teams you look up and say, the Pittsburgh Steelers, if they had a bum-ass kicker, if they didn't have Chris Boswell, the Steelers could easily be 7-7 right now. Think about that for a second. How many games they've won via field goal kicking? Boswell versus the Colts. Boswell versus the Packers. Boswell versus the Cincinnati Bengals. Boswell versus the Ravens. Think of just how many games they could have lost if they had an issue at the kicking position. If calls didn't go their way. If they had more injuries. It's a fine line in this league between being 5-9 right now, 7-7, and 9-7 in this league. So, it's tough. It's tough. Reese says, Jason Light signed a 1-year extension before the game. What does that mean to you? It means that he's on the hot seat. Not this year. But if stuff goes sideways next year, he's out of there. And it also means that, contrary to popular belief, Dirk Cutter's going to be back. Because a 1-year extension says to me, all right, you guys got 1 year to turn this shit around. If we're looking at 5-11 next year, if we're looking at 6-10 next year, hell, if we're looking at 7-9 next year and we don't like the direction of this program, both of y'all are gone. So y'all better fix it and fix it fast. That's what a 1-year extension says to me. John Perez says, time for both Dirk Cutter and Jason Light to go? Nah. They'll be back next year. John Perez says, are the Falcons back on track? No, but were they ever off track? I mean, seriously. What have you seen from the Falcons this year that led you to believe that they were a dominant team at any point this year? Other than maybe the Green Bay game in like week 2. I mean, what have you seen from them? I mean, the Seattle win was nice, but let's look at Seattle right now. How big does that win look now? Like, how good of a win? It makes me feel like how I felt about the Oakland Raiders win as a Redskins fan. Like, a month later after we beat them. Like, when we first beat them, oh, my God, we just shut down one of the best offenses in the league. Oh, my God, this defense is crazy this year. We just shut down the Raiders. A month later, you're like, man, our defense is terrible, man. The Raiders' offense stink. That win was garbage. Time gives you perspective on everything. So, I don't know if the Falcons were ever off track. I've never felt like this team, I've always told you, this team is better. And this is a fact. This team is better this year than it was last year. It's a better team. All of the young rookies from last year are second-year players playing better football. With the exception of Vic Beasley, who had 15.5 sacks last year and has like 4.5 this year, everybody's better. You were missing a corner last year. At this time of the year, there was no Desmond Trufant. He's healthy. It's a better team. Problem is, it's not better coached. And that is in where the problem lies for this Falcons team. The same group of guys, still good football team, just not as well coached. It is what it is. Reese says, what offseason changes need to be made in your opinion for the Bucs? You need a pass rusher or two. That's number one. I think you need more depth at the cornerback position because while I love Brent Grimes, he's 34, they said? 35? Still playing at a really high level, but at some point, that's going to change. And you don't want to be on the wrong side of the tracks when that happens. You don't want to wake up one week and say, damn, Brent don't have it no more. And the best you got is number 29 to put in the game. So the first thing, though, you need to do is get pass rush. That will fix a lot on defense. Fixes a lot. Offensively, you just want to see Jameis settle in and get more used to the weapons around him. I mean, this is a really talented Bucs offense. So many weapons. And it's one football. I get it. But they've got to find a way to get Jameis comfortable with the distribution of the football. There's no reason for Mike Evans not to get 3 or 4 shots down the field a game like he did last year. No reason for it. And he's got to start connecting with, if you're not hitting the deep ball or getting explosive plays out of Deshaun Jackson, then there's no reason to have him on your roster. None. If Deshaun Jackson is not among the league leaders in 40-plus yard plays, then there's no reason to have him on your roster. No, none. I don't even know if he has one this year. If he does, that's it. I can't remember him having many plays over 40 yards this year. They talked about you having the least amount of 40-yard plays this season. So I know he can't have more than one. So you got to figure out how to get these guys involved. I don't feel like the screen game is prevalent in Tampa. Whatever happened to the screen? That's not illegal. Like you're allowed to throw the running back the football out of the backfield for a screen. Like you ran 10 reverses tonight. How about taking 2 of those out of the playbook and tossing a couple screens to the back out of the backfield? Those work too. So easy completions for Jameis Winston. Better distribution of the football. And you got to find the right guy at the running back position. If that's Peyton Barber, cool. If it's not, get the right guy in there. Dre True Statement says, did you hear the F-bomb Matt Ryan dropped at Sanu to get set? He's still Matthew Ryan for me, but that was leadership he's been missing all year. He was fiery tonight. And he was running, too. He was running. Atlas says, does Matt Ryan get fined for swearing on national television? No. That's the NFL's fault. That's ESPN's fault for miking those guys up. People cuss on the field all the time. I know you don't think there's a bunch of choir boys out there and there's no curse words being thrown around. It's N-word city. It's you bitch this. F you. Bring that shit. All of that is going on in the field. The mics just don't pick it up. They know that they got to turn that stuff off. But we love the interaction we get. Just like we got a Cam Newton gym this weekend. Got the Matt Ryan gym tonight. Who will ever forget the Tony Romo gym with the linebacker for the Giants? 53 is the mic. No, I'm not the mic. I'm not the mic. Sometimes you get a gym. Sometimes you get a curse word. We love it all. We want all of it. So, no, he's not going to get fired for that. I mean, he's not going to get fined for that. Reese says, O.J. Howard can run. Crazy that guy that huge can run like that. Well, you know he's a 4.5 dude. 4.51 at the combine last year. You know he can run. John Perez says, I know you don't want to talk basketball, but I had to bring this up. Kobe Bryant is getting his jerseys retired. What's your favorite Kobe memory? I don't really have one. I wasn't a Kobe Bryant fan. I love watching him play the game of basketball. He's a hell of a competitor. One of the most fierce competitors I've ever seen in my life. That's the thing I admired most about Kobe Bryant, was he was a competitor. Hated to lose. And that was probably my favorite thing. One of my my worst Kobe memories came against one of my teams, and it was the beginning of his ascension in the league. But in any event, I just love his growth and maturation. You know, from being an asshole to a guy that everybody reveres and loves. And Kobe Bryant's one of the best to play the game. So there's that. The Mister says, Lou, I love my boys, but I'm in the business of reality. We're going to make the playoffs, but we'll be out first week, bro. We're the most talented but worst coached. And that might be the honest to God truth, you know. So we'll see what happens. John Perez says, I know Bucs corner Vernon Hargreaves didn't play in this game, but can he get better or is he regressing? Well, hard to say. I haven't really seen much of him this year. I haven't seen him on the field. KT, the Southern Gent, says, Ayo, in my Razor Ramon voice. Kyle Stokes says, what's the biggest weakness the Falcons have if they make the playoffs this year? Right now, I'd say their red zone offense. The inability to put the football in the end zone when they get down there. I've seen them settle for a ton of field goals this year. I've seen them struggle to get Julio Jones the football in the red zone. I just don't like what they do when they get down there. Like, I brought up a couple of points tonight where they're running plays where Justin Hardy is the featured target. Like, what are we doing here, guys? You got Julio! Check, check, 1, 2, 1, 2. Guess who? Mohamed Sanu. Last time I checked, Austin Hooper's about 6'5". Good hands. What are we doing here, guys? Justin Hardy's like 5'11", 5'10". What are we doing? Not to mention he's like a $195. Really? That's the best you got? I don't know. Dre True Statement says, man, the announcer jinx is real. As soon as Gruden says Falcons haven't taken a sack all night, I watched Matt Ryan take a sack right here, and I'll be damned on a critical third down he goes down. Hey, I be hating that, man, but, you know, it's a part of being a fan. You just got to take that, man. You got to take it for what it's worth. KT, the Southern Gent, says, revenge game, Dirty Birds Gumbo on deck next Sunday in the Dome. Sounds about right. Sounds about right. John Niner says, Falcons offense not the same without Kyle Shanahan. Facts. Reed says, Mike Smith finally thought it was a good idea to put Brent Grimes on Julio Jones. What a concept. Your best cover corner on their best receiver. It makes a lot of sense. And it also helps to put a safety over the top, too. That benefits you, too. You know, decide to throw it deep. Nice to have another guy back there just in case the one guy that you have covering him who's like 5'8", 5'9". And I know he can jump out of the building, but it's nice to have another guy back there just in case he's not able to stop a 6'4" guy that can jump just as high as he can for the football. So, yeah, that's a nice concept too. Dre True Statement says, automatic, a.k.a. the real Matty Ice. Yes, Matt Bryant. Automatic. Love that guy. Disco Jump Rope says, Matt saying effing set had me dying laughing. I just think a lot of people think Matt's soft. You know, they see the baby face and the little Grinch smile and they think, oh, he's a good guy. No, he's a competitor. Cats be wanting to win. F what you heard. Get effing set. Hey, man. You'd be amazed at what these dudes be saying, man. But it's all love. You know, Mohamed Sanu didn't take offense to that. He knew what time it was. King Joffrey Joe says, just got here, but I know this guy says we should have won this game in convincing fashion. But I don't know if he said family business. Divisions are tough. But, hey, better to get it now, huh? Get it out now, huh? Bruh. Family business is family business, man. I never said you were, I don't know if you were speaking about me or somebody else. But it's family business for a reason. So, CF Coaster says these referees need to learn how to keep their balance when on the field. They need to get these guys in shape, man. Come on. First of all, a lot of these referees are over the age of 45. Most of them are probably in their 50s. Then there's a couple of them out there that want to be 280 pounds. If that's the case, you can't be the guy in charge of going and retrieving the ball and running it to the spot so I can spike the ball. You can't be that guy. Where's the 195-pound guy that's in shape, that's only 47 years old? That's the guy need to be going and getting the ball and placing it, marking the ball ready for play. Jesus, ref. Could have cost these guys a chance at a field goal tonight. John Perez says, Steve Sarkisian looks like Captain Salazar from Pirates of the Caribbean 5 without the long hair and the messed up face. I can't speak to that. I don't know anything about the Pirates of Caribbean series. So. Atlas says Noah Spence is on IR with shoulder surgery, and G-Mac and Levante David were out of this game. I know Gerald tore his pec. I believe it's his pec, or he did something to his pec again. They were afraid he tore it, but I don't know if I don't think he tore it, because he would be out for the season and he would have been in a sling tonight. Levante David, I know they said he hurt his hamstring at the end of last game. So shoulder tear for Noah Spence. Got it, guys. Thank you. I know I haven't seen him, and that's part of the reason why you can't get any rush on the quarterback. Since when? When do you guys tell me since when? When did he go on IR with that shoulder tear? The Southern Gent says, does Tampa go after a new coach? I don't think so. Not this year. Atlas says, just staff, Justin Evans is clearly our best safety. Let's see. See where we are. Skipped a bunch of comments. Here we go. John Niner says, Jameis Winston played great, but bad teams find a way to lose. Facts. KT the Southern Gent says, Barber had me like we don't believe you. You need more people equals Tampa offense. Hey, he fumbled tonight, but I like him. Aries Falcon says, does Atlanta go offensive line in the draft this year? I don't know about that. It'll be pretty interesting to see what they do this year on the draft front. Normally when you're picking where they're going to end up picking, which is somewhere in the 20s because they made the playoffs, generally you take best player available. Because, when you're at the top of the draft because you're a bad team, top 5 picks, top 10, you usually just take the best player available regardless of position. Now, granted, if you have a stud left tackle, you're not going to draft another stud left tackle. It's got to make sense. But, you could already have a beast defensive end, and there's another one sitting there, and he's the best player on the board and the best player available, and there's no other glaring need on your team. You're going to take that beast defensive end. Like, you don't pass that up. You got one beast safety, and you don't need another one, but there's one sitting there, and he's a once-in-a-generational talent. You don't pass on him. You take him. So you get into the, 7 to 18, and you're really drafting for need, best player available / need. Like, you want the two to kind of fit. Then when you get to the playoffs, the playoff teams, hey, man, the best of the rest. Whatever's left, I'll take the best of that. It'd be nice if it matches up with a need, but to hell with it. If there's a grade A linebacker sitting there, if I'm the Falcons, I take him. Move Beasley back to defensive end where he belongs. To hell with that experiment. If there's a beast defensive end, yeah, you just drafted one the last couple of first round. I draft another one. You can never have enough pass rushers. So, I don't know. It's hard to say. And again, people always skip over free agency. Everyone asks about the draft. Free agency comes first. Then you can start asking them about the draft because then you'll know exactly what your team is looking to target. You'll know what free agents you lost, what positions of need you have, what you didn't address in free agency. Now it's a need in the draft. John Perez says, is this the last Monday Night Football game of the year? If so, we had some good Monday Night Football games this year, but others have been straight up garbaggio crapola. No, it's one more. Eagles, Raiders. Speaking of which, I will not be doing any more live programming from a overtime perspective in terms of Monday night. I'm not going to be doing, of course, that's Christmas. I'm not going to be doing a Monday night football overtime. Then there's no Thursday night game this week. Thank God. Saturday games, I may be home for that. I may not be home. So you just have to stay tuned for that. But this will be the last Monday Night Football overtime that you get this season. It's been a nice run, guys, for sure. Reese says, I think my Bucs may have needed this reality check, Lou. You have to lose to know how to win. King Joffrey Joe says, who's more to blame for the Falcons' offensive woes? Quinn, Sark, or Ice? Understandably that they all share it, but who should get more? In my opinion, Matt's timing is to blame. I still blame Sark for not using the running backs adequately enough. How many times did Devontae Freeman win out of the backfield tonight? How many times have I been screaming this season, you've got to get the running backs more involved in the passing game? I mean, how many times, if Freeman would have caught the football, how many times would he have been running free tonight? How many times did he run free tonight? Just imagine if you get Tevin Coleman out of the backfield, what a weapon he could be. We know what kind of a weapon he could be. We saw it last year. So I blame Sark for some of that, but it's hard to kill Matt Ryan because it's another new system for Matt Ryan, and it's an adjustment that you have to make. And so it's rough. And like you said, there's a lot of blame to go around for everybody. Captain Spartan 04 says, want to hear a joke? Buccaneers pass rush. Terrible. Michael Thompson says, Saints will destroy the Falcons. Believe that. Yes, DeMonte, I did hear Matt drop the F-bomb. Hirsch Patel says, as a Cowboys fan, I really want to see the Falcons lose this one. I know you did. That would have been a big help to you. Reese says, Mike Smith is known for his discipline. He has no excuse to have the 31st ranked defense. When you're playing with the 31st ranked defense players, hard to say. I beg to differ, man. John Perez says, have you ever considered going back to the NFL's Most Wanted, a.k.a. the Lost Tape series? The Sheriff. You're referencing The Sheriff. Yes, but that's a classic. That's in the vault. I'm probably not going back to that. Enrique Valencia says, shaking my head, 2 wins away from going 16-0. I knew I should have went with the Chiefs and Panthers. You were not 14-2 this week. I refuse to believe it. Whatever. No way. 2-14. Well, like, I've got to see the proof. I don't believe you. You need more people. Aries Falcon says, do the Falcons let Tevin Coleman go when his contract is up with Freeman playing like that? No, because you know Devontae Freeman is good for 2 or 3 games a season where he's going to be out. Whether it's an ankle or concussion, whatever the case may be, he's going to miss games. You know that for a fact. Same can be said with Coleman. You need 2 in this league. This is not a one-back league anymore. Leonard Fournette has been kicking ass this year, but he's missed another 4 games. It's always good to have Chris Ivory and TJ Yeldon and Corey Grant behind him just in case he doesn't play. You need another guy. Now, how much money is he going to command on free agent market? That's the question. If the price is a little too steep, then maybe they do let him go. But I can't imagine Tevin Coleman costing the Falcons too much to the point where they consider not trying to re-sign him. Captain Spartan 04 says, wherever Chris Baker, the D-line becomes terrible. So wherever Chris Baker goes, the D-line becomes terrible. King Joffrey Joe says, Cutter, Smith, Robert McClain, Freddie Martino, Joe Hawley, Quiz Rogers, Brent Grimes, trust me, Way more names. Bucs got a lot of losing tendencies. Check the roster. Tampa Falcons. Yeah, I mean, but that's the division in itself, though. A lot of teams love purging and plucking off of other teams' roster within the division because they've seen those dudes. They know what they're capable of, and they think if we give them an opportunity, they'll be much better players. But we all know sometimes that can go in the opposite direction for you, too. John Niner says, never heard of too many weapons. LOL. I think it comes down to coaching. Got to find a way to get all these guys involved. Sometimes there can be too many cooks in the kitchen, man. But that's a good problem to have. It's a bad problem when you don't have enough weapons. John Perez says, what's the point of blocking the curse words since the youth hears parents cussing at home anyway? You much rather them get it from their own parents than to get it from the television, but hey, they're going to get it wherever they get it. Captain Spartan 04 says, what happened to Taylor Gabriel? He hurt? Nope, he played tonight. Caught a couple passes. They gave him a reverse. He was out there. Cloud says, people, whoa, what just happened? Let's see what we got. All right. Let's see. Cloud says, people must have forgot how Red's Matt's face was when they choked that Super Bowl. He was pissed. Atlas says, Spencer's shoulder has been hurt for the last 6 weeks now. He had the same injury last year and did surgery this time to fix it or something. Okay. It was the Cardinals game. Okay, so it's been a while. It's been a while. Cardinals game was when I still had faith that this team would win 9 games this season. That's when Spence got hurt. Okay, I got you. Got you. KT, the Southern Gent, says, what's your definition of a true number one receiver? I think Julio, OBJ, AB, Fitz, AJ Green, everyone else is serviceable. A number one receiver doesn't have to be one of those guys. I mean, you can have you didn't name Hopkins in there, and he's one of the best receivers in the league. I think there are probably about 16 out of the 32 teams. There are about 16 number one wide receivers. If you go through the league and you look at everyone's receivers, you'll see that there are probably about 16 number one wide receivers. And I know we had this discussion. We talked about Michael Thomas. Michael Thomas is a number one receiver in this league. That's why the Saints felt comfortable letting go their former number one wide receiver in Brandon Cooks, because they trust that Michael Thomas will continue to flourish and be the number one guy for them in New Orleans. And he's done nothing to disappoint thus far. Captain Spartan 04 says, who in the early process of the draft seems like, okay, again, draft questions. You guys are killing me with the draft questions. It's too early for the draft. You guys know me. If you don't know me, it's too early for the draft. For me, at least. You guys can have all the draft conversations you want. I'm a long way away from the draft right now. My mindset is still regular season, postseason, free agency, combine, then draft. It's got a long way to go. Aries Falcon says Coleman could get paid to start anywhere else. Would be the best spot for him being a number 2. Yeah, I'd say that you probably won't find a better situation. And you always would prefer to stay where you get drafted. But if he's dying to start and be the guy, which any competitor would be, and someone is offering him the chance to do that, and he may be inclined to move on. So, we'll see what happens. In any event, it's going to do it for your man Louie T here on Monday Night Football Overtime. Falcons get the win, 24-21 over the Bucs. Keep their bid to win the division alive, now at 9-5. Big one next week on the road at New Orleans for the second time in 3 weeks. They'll be taking on the Saints. And this one's pretty much for the division. A Saints win locks up the division. a Falcons win puts them one step closer to back-to-back division titles in Atlanta. So, big game for both teams involved. Panthers will be watching that game very closely because if you're the Panthers, you're rooting for a Falcons win, and then you would look to take care of business the following week on the road versus those same Falcons and look for the season sweep versus them and hope that you finish up just a game better than the Saints. And the loss next week by the Saints, coupled with 2 wins to finish up for the Panthers, gives them the NFC South crown. So, lot to be decided in this division. The Bucs are smack dab in the middle of it, as I think they'll be taking on every single team down the stretch at least once, starting with this Falcons game. I think they got the Panthers next week, and then I think they finish up at New Orleans or home for New Orleans. In any event, Bucs will have a lot to say in how this division turns out. But then again, everybody else will as well. So, should be interesting. Wasn't pretty for the Falcons tonight, but it was gritty. It was gritty. And most importantly, it was what? What was it, Joe? I thought so. I'm your man, Louie T. Thank you for joining me. If you haven't already done so, subscribe to the Louie T Network for more great content in 2017 and beyond. We're changing the game one live feed at a time. I want you to help us do that by simply hitting that subscribe button and becoming a member of the Louie T Network. If you want to donate to this channel, that is how you do it, through Patreon and PayPal. Both of those links that you see in front of you down in the description of this video, in every single video I do, along with the links to all my social media platforms. That includes Instagram as well. We'll be doing a lot more with my social media come next year. That includes Instagram. I know we talk about a lot of different topics here on this channel, and I think Instagram next year, I'm going to use that as a platform to talk about a number of different things. I know you guys like to talk different things, basketball, movies, whatever. Sometimes we go off on tangents. I think I'm going to use Instagram as a platform to do that a lot next year. And so make sure you're linked up with all of my different social media platforms. Facebook's going to be a much bigger part of what I do next year as well. Twitter too. So make sure you're abreast of everything that's going on here on the Louie T Network. And most importantly, make sure you're subscribed to the Louie T Network for more great content in 2017 and beyond. I'm your man, Louie T, signing off. It's been a great run on the overtime series this year. We may get more overtime regular season action on Saturday night. That's debatable. We'll see. I may be busy on Saturday. One thing's for sure, I will not be doing this on Christmas on Monday, and there are no more Thursday games. So there will be a Sunday night game. I may be able to do that one. Who's to say? In any event, it's been a joy doing this all season long. Obviously, we got playoff football, so it's not like I'm going anywhere for the remainder of the season. But in terms of the regular season, it's been a blast chopping it up with you guys every single Monday night at the conclusion of every single game, live right after the game's over with. And so hopefully we'll get to do that some more. We definitely will during the playoffs, but that might be it for the regular season. Time will tell. In any event, want to thank you guys again for joining me. Make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel, and enjoy the rest of your night. And I'll see you when I see you, whether that's tomorrow on the Redskins Report Live, Wednesday for winners and losers, and that'll be the last episode of that, most likely. I may try to get in one more episode just to announce the winners and all of that stuff, but obviously, winners and losers the following week after on the week of Christmas, not going down. So we'll make the proper adjustments necessary to get everything handled. But again, thank you guys for joining me. God bless and good night. Take us home, Joe.